All right, so here we're actually, just so if you listen to the Western Conference one before this, we filmed the Eastern Conference podcast yesterday, but we're redoing it now because we got Titi. So the Heat beat the Heat. My mind's for
Bulls.
Bulls. Yeah, the Heat beat the Bulls yesterday, and we talked about that at the very beginning of the Western Conference preview. Now we're going to the Eastern Conference, which we did yesterday. We're just redoing it. So just to get those people listening to both our two podcasts here of the previews. Now you're throwing a monkey in my wrench here because in my opinion, the first three series, Bucks, Celtics, Sixers are automatic. We don't need to talk about them, but both you guys want to talk about it. So I'll let you guys do your thing. Niles, you're the Heat fan. You told me you want to talk Heat Bucks. To me, this is a no-brainer. Bucks are much better. But let's hear it. What do you got, Niles? What do you want to share about that series?
Yeah, I still don't think Miami has enough to beat the Bucks. I do think that history will play a little bit of a factor in this series, to me, in my opinion, because I believe with the adjustments that Eric Spoelstra has shown that he's capable of making as the series prolongs, and he's shown that he's been able to beat Milwaukee, but he's also shown that Milwaukee just has too much talent for them. I just think there are a few little things that I'd want to break down in the series, and I think it really comes down to the big men. I think the interior defense is going to be the big question in this series because you have the stars that are driven with Giannis and Jimmy Butler, who love to get to the rim, love to get to the free throw line, and I think with Bam, I don't think anybody guards Giannis better than Bam Adebayo, in my opinion. I think he's done the best job on Giannis in the league so far, maybe outside of Al Horford, in my opinion, but I believe they have a formula for stopping Giannis. It's really the other guys on the roster with Milwaukee that really give Miami the trouble. And so I still have Bucks winning this series.
I got a question.
I believe Bam and Brook are the big X factors in this
I
series.
got a question for you quickly, Niles, before we move on.
Yeah.
Hold on, I got to get in.
You think the Heat are going to score on the Bucks? They're going to have so much trouble scoring in this series. Come on.
Yeah, I have severe issues with their scoring, especially inside. I believe it really comes down to the floor spacing. Kevin Love really got to step up. I expect Max Strus to play big minutes. We may see Duncan Robinson for a few minutes, but I believe with the Bucks, the Bucks system is pack the paint and let them shoot their three ball.
And the Heat can't shoot. The Heat can't shoot. All right, TD, let's get in there, TD.
Strus can shoot.
Yesterday he could.
Lowry can hit his threes, but I think he got injured. I couldn't think more opposite than Niles. Watching the Heat play these last two playoff games, look at the three players that look like Hall of Famers. Clint Capella was a big that had 18 rebounds. Andre Drummond last night came in and looked like a Hall of Famer. He played like 10 minutes. He had 10 points and 10 boards. And Vucevic looked like a Hall of Famer too last night. So I think the Heat's issue is that Bam has no help. And if those three guys look like Hall of Famers, now he's going up against Brook and Giannis. I think Bam is going to have a nightmare this series. A total nightmare.
See, that's not what Niles was saying. Niles was saying Bam on the defensive end gives Giannis trouble. And that's where that's a knock for the Heat. That's
also another thing. The Bucks really struggle against zone defenses, and I saw that. I don't know why they didn't use it when they got swept by Milwaukee a couple of years ago, but the year before that, I've seen Giannis really have trouble getting downhill and in his strengths when there's a zone defense sitting in front of them. Miami runs for 2-3 zone defense than any team in the league. If they stick with that, I think there's a better chance for Miami to at least extend the series. I still don't have Miami winning, but I think the zone is going to give Milwaukee a lot of trouble.
Absolutely, no doubt. Great point.
Yeah,
zone against people that can't shoot, and Giannis can't shoot is the greatest. I remember when the Mavs beat the Heat, Rick Carlisle went zone, and LeBron couldn't hit a mid-range shot. I think zone against an athletic guy that has no jumper is the best thing.
You're missing the point, though, guy. I think we all agree with the Heat can play the defense to give the Bucks trouble, but when you flip it around, the Bucks have a great defensive plan, and the Heat can't shoot, and that's the big mismatch. So, TD, I'll give you some time. Niles and I both easy Celtics over Hawks. All right, I'll give you a little bit of the floor. Let's hear it.
I think
You
people
think the
are,
Hawks are going to really challenge them?
I think there is absolutely no way that this series, that the Celtics don't take a punch to the jaw and it goes, and they really sweat. And I do think the Hawks actually have a chance to win this. I don't think I think the Celts take it in 7. But what amazes me is how everyone is clowning the Hawks. Everyone. I think they're dangerous. I think Trae Young has Eastern Conference scalps under his belt already. He knocked out Embiid. Think about it. Embiid, the great Embiid, has never made a conference finals. Why? Because of Trae Young. Knocked out the Knicks the other year. He has it in his blood to win Eastern Conference series. They played great in that playing game. I didn't realize he's the leader in assists in NBA this year. Not surprised. I couldn't believe how good it was his passing. He's got the clutch 3 if he needs it, and his floater is, in my opinion, one of the most potent all-world weapons in the NBA this year. You add all that to the fact that they just made an Eastern Conference Finals a couple years ago, and now they just added DeJounte Murray, just throw it into the mix. I think they're nasty, and I can't believe how
It's
little.
a terrible matchup for them. Terrible matchup. All right, the Celtics guards, White, Smart, Jaylen Brown, they're all great defensive players. Great
Well, you know what?
players.
I'll give you that, but you know what the Celtics do not have? The Celtics do not have firepower. They don't.
They do. They hit their threes. Someone's going to hit. Titi, they have 2 of the top scorers in the league. Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown are 2 of the top scorers in the league. Guys like Al Horford, check out his three-point percentage. He knocks down threes.
Stop. Al Horford,
they're going to score enough.
Horford scares me.
The guards are going to give Trey Murray all the trouble they want. The Hawks beat the Bulls because of their offensive rebound. Celtics are one of the best rebounding teams in the NBA. It's just a mismatch. Niles, anything to add?
I think Niles
I think for me,
I think Niles is with me here.
Yeah, I still have the Celtics winning this series. My thing with the Celtics is they have a bad habit, and it reminds me a lot, if you guys remember the Russell Westbrook, Kevin Durant teams in OKC. Closing games effectively and efficiently is the only thing that I have that I could doubt the Celtics on. I believe they have everything else that they need on their roster to win. They've proven it already. But there are times like in the finals where Jason Tatum gets in a little bit of his head, forcing shots up, or the ball just kind of sticks. And I think that's the only thing that can really beat them, and that's themselves. I don't believe any other team can beat the Celtics, but the Celtics have too many egos in the locker room at times, and I believe they beat themselves up every now and then because of over dribbling or stagnant offense. But there's no other weak holes in the roster. Yeah,
how many games you can take them to beat the Hawks, Niles?
I'll be nice and give the Hawks 1 game just because of Boston's mistakes, and they have a tendency to turn the ball over. And Atlanta loves to play the small ball lineups where they space the floor, but I just don't think they have enough size on the perimeter to guard the guys on Boston's roster. Yeah, like you mentioned with Derek White and Marcus Smart.
All right, today's game is gonna make a lot of believers out of the Hawks. A lot of believers. You know who the one guy back in the Hawks? Shaq. So good on Shaq.
He has them winning or just giving him a tough series?
No, he just loves the Hawks, and he picked them in the last game, and he's the only guy in media backing them.
Yeah, it's true. They don't get talked about a lot.
No, nothing.
Sixers, Nets. We've all got Sixers. All right, let's get to the big series. Arguably the most, especially for Titi and I, because we're both Knicks fans. Knicks, Cavs, 4-5. Man, Titi, who you got and why?
I think this is going to be a great series. I have the Knicks in 7. Just let's get that out early. But I think the Cavs have a lot that scare me. I think they have the main things you look for in a playoff run. They got twin towers. So that's defense, rebounds, and blocks. 2 of them. That is what you want for a playoff run. And they got Donovan Mitchell, who does the intangibles of playoff basketball. He can hit the clutch 3. He can get to the free throw line, and he can close games. So these are the things that win you playoff series. Twin towers.
You pick the Knicks because
I like the Knicks because of the bench.
Yep.
They got Josh Hart, Emmanuel Quickly, Hartenstein, who can get some blocks, get some rebounds. He's big at the end of games too. And I think the fact that it's a 7-game series and that these games are 42 whatever minutes long, 46 minutes long, that's going to play in the Knicks.
48. Yep. Mhm.
So the Cavs have a great starting 5, enough to do it all. But these series are long, and these games are 46 minutes.
48. Yep.
48 minutes. So I think that's where the Cavs are going to get hit. But they do scare me because they got the Twin Towers and they have a closer who can get to the line and who can hit big threes.
All right, now TD's got the Knicks in 7. What do you got, Niles?
I favor the Knicks in 7 as well. I believe the Cleveland is dominant at home this year. They've been dominant, but the Knicks are solid on the road, 24-17. I think that's very underrated in this league, just road records, and I think that means a lot when it comes to playoff basketball. The Knicks are good playing with their backs against the wall. They have the guard depth, as you guys mentioned. They shoot better on the perimeter. There's more floor spacing for their team. I think it comes down to just the bigs. I mean, Julius Randle, I need to see just like where he is physically with his ankles and the mindset that he shows early in the series. Is he going to be a guy that settles for jump shots, or is he going to put his head down and get to the rim and use his physicality on Evan Mobley, who we all know is a great wiry, lengthy defender and shot blocker, but we do know that Randall's outweighing him by at least 40 pounds. So I think the Knicks go in 7. Just because of depth purposes, I have severe concerns of the Cavs' floor spacing and their pace. So I think those are big things come playoff time, and that's why I favor the Knicks.
So we've all got the Knicks. So I'm just going to throw a little cold water on that. Number one, if you look at the Knicks, when they're fully healthy, they play great basketball. They've had 2 really bad stretches this year. When Mitchell Robinson went out earlier in the year before the All-Star break, and then early March when Brunson went out. So when because they don't have a superstar, they don't have a Donovan Mitchell. So when you take away a piece, it hurts them a lot. They need everything clicking. And Julius Randle he's been the most consistent Knick. He just gives you those minutes, those points. So him not being healthy definitely gives you something to worry about, especially Niles brought it up, that toughness, okay, against the big man, against Mobley. You want that toughness there. So that changes things a little bit. You got to factor that in for the Cavs. The second thing I was going to say is the Cavs have the home court. The Cavs have the home court, and we all agree this is going to be a long series. And these big games, home court matters for the role players, hitting those big threes. Someone like Quickly could go off, but the chances of him or RJ Barrett hitting big shots, I think it's more likely at home than on the road. So you guys both have game 7s, and you think the Knicks are going to go into Cleveland and win something.
RJ Barrett's definitely not hitting a 3 in a game 7 on the road. There's absolutely no way that's going in.
I don't have much faith in RJ taking that shot. I have more faith in Brunson and Quickly taking those shots.
Yeah, to that point.
I think Cleveland's home record as well. Cleveland's home record is a big thing for me as well. I counter it with how well I've seen the Knicks play on the road this year, but I mean Cleveland being 31-10 at home with great fans is definitely a momentum builder right there for them. I think that's something to really stand out.
And Niles, everyone that just assumes Brunson's going to have just an amazing series. Okoro's a good defender. He's a good defender, and he could give him some trouble. So to me, this is a real toss-up series. I'm a Knicks fan. Titi brought it up. You brought it up. The Knicks' depth, that to me is the real difference. They're just
and their energy guys like Josh Hart is just a phenomenal rebounder.
Yeah,
just
he's a great player.
Phenomenal. His game, what he brings to the NBA is all just based on like hustle.
It's winning.
But he will out hustle whoever is on the court with him 100% of the time. And that is your guy. Dude, him and Quickly coming off the bench.
Yeah.
It's going to be big.
It's going to be big.
It's going to be a great series.
It's funny though. We all agree though in every series. We've all got Knicks, Sixers, Celtics, Bucks. We've all gone with the big boys, even though, Titi thinks the Hawks are going to make it really tight. Other than that, we're all in agreement. All right, a couple quick hitters before we go, because we got, we're going to be watching the Knicks today and doing a post-game show on that. Here's my first question. Who has the most to gain in these playoffs in the Eastern Conference? What player could change their reputation, can change their legacy the most with these playoffs?
I think without a doubt it's Jalen Brunson. For one, Giannis already has made his bed. He's an MVP. He's a Finals MVP. He's got a ring. He's got nothing to prove. He's already an A1. I think Brunson with a nice Knicks run here, he elevates himself. Because look at the team you're digging out of a hole too. You got to factor in the Knicks' history. We've done nothing. We've been a laughing stock. We get him. So I think if the Knicks make a run, he
Jalen
totally
Brunson becomes a star. Well, he's ready.
He's not. He didn't make the All-Star team. He's not getting the credit. He's definitely not getting the credit he deserves. I noticed last year what a monster he was. When Luka went out and he dropped 42, he played phenomenal. And I knew right away he was going to be good on the Knicks, just from watching him perform in the postseason. And you listen, with Randall out, he's going to be the main shot taker too. So I'm looking this is a huge moment for Jalen Brunson. And on the flip side, Zob, the Knicks get bounced in the first series. We're just clowns.
Yep.
We're nothing and we're clowns. So I think it's on Brunson.
That's fair. That's a good one. He was not even on my radar. Niles, what about you?
I have a very hot take with this one after really looking after the playoff brackets and the way the path to the finals would look for this particular team. I'm kind of torn between the two players on the team, the two stars. I'm going to go with the Philadelphia 76ers because I believe they have the most to play for, given the struggles of both their stars in the playoffs. James Harden and Embiid have both struggled mightily. If the Sixers beat the Nets, which I expect them to do, and the Celtics beat the Hawks, we got Sixers, Celtics in the next round, and then they most likely will meet the Bucks in the conference finals, the winner of that series. I think a lot is riding on James Harden's legacy to show up in the playoffs, which he has yet to do. He had one good game against Miami and Philly last year, and then pretty much just disappeared after that. I think a lot is riding on James Harden this year to really show up and make sure Embiid gets his touches. And with Embiid, I mean, there's nobody who really plays with his back up against his wall, up the wall like that more than Embiid seems to. And just the way he's been eliminated each year in the playoffs is taking a hit on him. So I feel like there's a lot of pressure on Philadelphia. Doc Rivers is fighting for his job, I believe. If they don't make the conference finals this year, I believe Doc Rivers will be replaced as head coach. And
But
I really think Philly's under pressure.
You had to pick one, Niles, the most legacy.
Yeah. I'm going to say James Harden.
Yeah,
Harden?
It's a good one.
I'm going to say James Harden.
It's a good one.
Well, see, this is why, in my opinion, Harden's not in his. We saw what Harden's legacy is those astronomical seasons. You look at some of those statistical years with the Rockets; they're off the charts. That to me is Harden's legacy. To me, by far, it's Joel Embiid, because no one looks at him when you have these people talk about legacy, about LeBron and Curry. No one talks about Embiid in that level of play. They don't put him on the level with a Giannis or a Durant or a Curry or LeBron. But you look what he's done the last couple of years. He has been elite. His numbers this year, his points
he's
per
not.
game.
That's a good one too. A lot. Embiid gets it done this year.
Yeah.
Huge.
Right now, no one looks at Embiid as that level of player, but his statistics are that level. He's an all-time big man based on statistics, but he hasn't gotten done in the playoffs. So that's why no one looks at him that way. So to me, it's an obvious one based on this particular season. I like Harden, but as a pick, but to me, it's sort of acknowledged that he's the Robin in this duo. And so that's why, to me, it's more Embiid.
It's very tough. It took me a while to really, like, mid-conversation, I was going back and forth, as you might have noticed. It's really, really close to me because I just feel like the longevity of the playoff struggles with James Harden has been more documented. But with Joel Embiid, he's in the prime of his career and he's continually not showing up in the playoffs.
Exactly.
I
There's a
think
lot of
this is
pressure on
very
him.
hard to. Yeah, but I've just seen such a bigger collapse from James Harden in the playoffs that I just feel like this year, regular season, I felt like this was his most balanced season that he's had. He looked to score, but he led the league in assists. And I believe he really funneled Joel Embiid into having one of his best and most efficient seasons of his career. So that's why I feel like he has the more pressure because James Harden runs the offense. He's the one who gets the ball to Embiid. He's the one who runs pick and roll with Embiid. And so Harden's efficiency is really going to determine how well Embiid's going to be able to play.
I don't think he gets it done. I don't think the Sixers get it done this year. You really see them beating? They're not. If Boston makes it through, in fact, what they should do is hope the Hawks beat Boston, and then they can maybe beat the Hawks.
Yeah.
That's what they should hope for.
You know, Embiid loves feasting on Clint Capella. You know he loves playing against Clint Capella.
All right, now last question. Besides our home team, so with us, the Knicks and Niles, the Heat, besides our homer picks, who do we want to come out of the East? Who do we deep down, if we have who are we going to be rooting for once, let's just say, our teams go out? Who are we going to be rooting for?
All right.
Niles, why don't you go first? Who are you rooting for besides, the Heat?
It's
realistically,
killing me,
when
really.
it gets down to
it kills me to see that this is the one matchup this year. I really want to see Milwaukee kind of get back to the finals and get up to that stage because I'm a big supporter of Giannis and I love Drew Holiday. Drew Holiday is one of my favorite players in the league. I don't love Chris Middleton as much, but he's important to their team and everything. And I love the balance of their roster. They have the perfect amount of shooting and ball handling in the backcourt with Ingles and Javon Carter stepping up. I think those guys mean a lot. And then defensively, they're a stalwart. They're fourth in the league in defense. They have the best defender in the league, in my opinion, in Giannis. And then Brook Lopez is the best rim protector. I would really like to see them get back to the finals. I would like them to beat Boston as well as they possibly can. It left a salty taste in my mouth the way they beat Milwaukee last year, Boston. So I'd like to see Milwaukee return to the finals.
all right, Titi. That's a good Titi.
I'm going to echo that. I like the Bucks and I like Giannis. They just do it right, and you have to root for these kind of people. He stuck with the team that drafted him. He won with them. He didn't, make a super team. And I just like Giannis, the guy. I think around the league, he doesn't get the respect. I don't think he's that liked because he's not really quote unquote cool. He's not from this country. And I think he's kind of unliked, but I like that about him, that he's his own person. He does his own thing. He lives for himself. He plays in his home team. And I really like Giannis. I love his attitude. And I think as a team, they do everything right, and you like to see that rewarded. So I'd love to see them make the finals. Unfortunately, I'd still like to see Steph Curry get one more ring than LeBron, make it 5. So I'll have to root against them against the Warriors. But I'd love to see the Giannis make it out of the East.
Man, I'm everything what all of you said. I'm in a complete agreement. I just want to add one more point. You look at guys like Drew Holiday and Brook Lopez, they put the team in front of themselves. I really believe that. When they play, they really focus on defense, and they're not about getting theirs. They really focus on, Drew Holiday will score 10 points, but it'll be the 10 points they need from him. I don't know. I just get a real sense when I watch the Bucks that they're a team, that they truly are a team. Yeah. So
Drew Holiday is phenomenal.
Yeah.
Unbelievably underrated.
Yeah.
I remember last year, but we were watching the game last year and texting each other, and Zav was just texting, Drew Holiday is just a winner.
Yep.
And he just makes the steal that you need. He just gets it. Yeah, they're going to be good. It's hard not to root for the Bucks.
Yeah. All right, guys.
Sorry, just one thing on Drew Holiday, just because you mentioned it. Some of the things I've seen him do defensively are just unbelievable. And you could make the argument the Bucks have at 3 positions the best defenders in the league with Giannis,
Yeah.
Brook Lopez, and Drew. I've seen Drew Holiday just routinely shut down point guards for series. I saw him shut down Dame Lillard in 4 games when they were the underdogs. I've seen him shut down Chris Paul, even though Chris Paul was hampered in the finals a bit, but like just put him in a straitjacket, just every possession down. It's incredible, but he's adding the scoring this year. So that's another thing with Drew Holiday that stands out.
And Niles, know what else that you guys
Oh.
didn't mention? Off the bench, Bobby Portis plays D as well. And you know what's interesting? I listened to Bobby Portis with JJ Redick on his podcast.
Mm-hmm.
He has so much love for Drew Holiday and Brook Lopez. He pushes them. That's my point, is they're such a team because he sees how hard they play defense. And, you know, a lot of it's not in statistics. So
Yeah, and there's no flash. They're
Yeah.
just down and dirty work dogs. Drew Holiday is just never smart. He's just a workhorse. He gets it. He gets it.
Yep.
That's a good point about the analytics, though. They don't stand out in any analytical categories, really. Brook Lopez stands out defensively with like rim contests, but like you don't see Giannis at the top of all these advanced stats or anything like that. They're not the best at one thing, but come playoff time, that chemistry just always just overtakes a lot of these teams that they go up against. So I think that's a great point about chemistry because they've been together a long time.
And they're all there's no egos on that team.
No egos.
Nope. All right, great stuff. And we'll talk later this afternoon, probably tonight. It's going to be once that Nick Cavs, we'll do a quick little recap. All right, thanks, Niles. See you, TD.
Thanks,
All right,
guys.
boys.